Can you all hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't know what the problem was. It was not coming. I can hear on my when I play something, but you all were not able to hear me. I'm sorry, it's getting so late today. Okay. How many of the BSc students have joined today? Three?
Yes, ma'am. Three.
Okay. Have you given your names? Okay, I think he has added, no? He has added your names. There are 19 of you who have joined. Okay. Hmm. Shall I begin? I won't take much of it. Pardon me? I won't take much of your time today because I already started late and I think I need to speed up on my uh, lessons because the BSc students have also come in. Um, the BSc students and the others also, the ECE students, I will give you the slides again. The syllabus is the same. I have made some changes to the slides and I will give you those slides, the new slides again. Okay. So by that, hopefully by then more of the BSc students would have joined and then they can get access. Most of it is the same, just here and there I've changed a little bit. So I'll give you the updated slides once some more of these BSc students join. All right. Since many of them are still joining in, I don't know whether I should start. Okay, we are already late. Now, I'll do one thing. Uh, those of you who have joined, yeah, please put in your names and your roll numbers meanwhile in the chat box so that it becomes easy for us to make a note. Uh, for those of you who have just joined in today, uh, we are talking about the relevance of values and ethics in our daily life, and we are going to lead it on to how values and ethics are essential for professionals also, and then we'll fine tune it to the engineering profession. So we started with some of the basic, like for the last few classes I've been talking about what values are, what I mean by ethics. All right. Where I said that values are basically some personality traits, all right, which help you, behavioral traits for that matter, behavioral traits which help you to um, frame or build your personality. All right. So you are known for the values that you possess. And accordingly, we talked about negative and positive values. And usually, what happens is the positive values are the ones that we would like to pursue or cherish in our lifetime and try to minimize the practice or implementation of the negative values. All right, here we are not talking about any kind of numerical values. We are talking of certain behavioral traits that are applicable to our human lives. Okay, so that is what we said, and we were talking about what we meant by value crisis, where crisis meaning shortage of something. And what is a value crisis? Value crisis means the loss of these values, and what happens when there is a loss of these values in our daily life. Okay, so we saw in the last class, we saw some of the reasons why a value crisis can happen. So I'll just show you that slide and move on from there to what the consequences of a value crisis can be. And then we will move on to values in general, then to ethics quickly. And with that, we will probably cover quite a bit of the first unit. Okay, so I will share the slide. Let me know 1 minute if you can see my slide. 1 minute. So can you see my slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is what we stopped with in the last class. We were talking about what happens when there is a loss of values in our lives. And we talk of present society because all human beings, most of us, all of us for that matter, survive or live in a particular society, all right, and we live it with so many other people. Now what can happen if there is a value crisis, all right? And we started talking about this topic because we needed to know why this topic had to be included as a subject in your syllabus. uh, because of a value crisis, all right, in our lives today. um, we had to revamp these thoughts on the value crisis, and therefore it was decided that some bit of this values and ethics be put into your syllabus to let you know what you should be as an individual, and how your values as an individual should also work on you when you're a professional, because you the professional and the individual are not two separate people, all right? You are an individual, and then you have certain professional values also which you will have to imbibe or make strong in you when you start working, all right? In your workplace, certain values are expected from you, all right? The knowledge of certain ethical issues is expected in you, and that is why they thought that we should let you know about what you're losing out in your daily life and how you should bring it back into your life. So when we were talking about this, we talked about how we have lost these values, what has caused a loss of values in our lives. We talked of lack of education, all right? I don't know if you remember all these points. I was very quickly going through these points. Lack of education and imparting of moral values among children. When we were in school, and many of you also, when in school, you said that you had something called a moral science class, and that was where you were formally introduced to uh, these values and ethics, all right? And your family and your society and the people with whom you interacted were also responsible for educating you in certain ways, and to some extent religion plays an important part in imparting these values in you, all right? Which is why all families are told that inculcate some religious beliefs in your children, uh, in the name of tradition, in the name of culture. Do it so that these values are not lost, moral values are not lost. So lack of education, meaning many schools have taken off these moral science subjects and all these, social studies subjects from their syllabus, saying that life has moved on so much that there is no time for all this. Whatever happens will happen. You don't have to study these things. But way back in our school days, we were taught all these things. We had moral science classes, and I don't know if you people had in our convent school. We had something called the Soldiers of God, a small what should I say, small kind of newsletter that was circulated to us once every month, and it had stories from the Bible, which was given to everybody, irrespective of whether you were a Christian or not. All right, so we used to enjoy reading these stories. There were short stories in them, and each of these stories had morals. All right, and that was how we got to know through religion what was good, what was bad, and then this concept that telling lies is bad and you could be punished for it. There is God who is looking at you from way above, and who is monitoring all your actions. And for every wrong action, every wrong karma that you do, you will be penalized for it. You will be punished for it later on. Achha, is somebody trying to enter the class? I don't know. Shusmita. Okay. If somebody is trying to enter the class, please tell me, okay? Otherwise, I won't know.
Okay, ma'am.
They'll keep on coming, and since I'm looking at the slide, I can't see that screen. Just let me know. So these were some of the things that we talked about in the previous class. We talked of lack of respect towards our culture, religion, moral and social values. When we said loss of respect towards our culture, I talked about how we were aping or trying to imitate the Western culture, all right, by discarding our own cultures. The Indian culture, the Indian ethos, the Indian, what should I say, beliefs were all being sacrificed for the Western culture, all right? And it's not a bad thing. I'll tell you, it's not bad. You can always adopt the culture of another nation, of another country, or adopt another culture, provided you look into the positive sides and the positive aspects of that culture. Many of the Westerners, people in the Western culture, they have lost this sense of spiritualism in them. All right, which is why their marriages break up so quickly. They don't have faith in each other. It's for them, marriage breaking up is so easy. Is so easy as just removing your wedding ring and throwing it and saying that okay, the marriage is over. Whereas in India, it's not so easy. So you will find there was a trend, a rush of Western people from the Western culture coming into India, and having weddings, lavish weddings, but with a lot of religious and spiritual uh, flavor in it. They spent a lot of money because they have money, and they had their weddings in the palaces in Udaipur, Jaipur, and many other places, or typical Indian Hindu weddings or typical Indian weddings, depending on whatever religion it was, because they thought that uh, the what should I say, the concept of marriage was lost in the Western society. All right, it didn't mean anything to them anymore. The what should I say, uh, the sacred relationship that arises out of a marriage was lost. All right, and they came to India to find these things. They said that the rituals that are conducted during the Hindu weddings made a lot of sense to them. Okay, somebody is trying to join, I think. So they wanted to have Indian weddings, and they did it the typical Indian style. Okay, starting from the food. So food is a part of our culture. They wore Indian clothes, all right, which is also again the Indian part of the Indian culture, and the entire process, the wedding was in an Indian style. The decorations, everything. So that is culture. Culture is about the food, the clothes, the language, the entire atmosphere is about culture, right? What people believe in. Culture can also have part of religion in it, all right? And religion also, lack of respect towards religion has created a lot of problems, all right? This is, I don't know if you can give any examples, but you see the intrusion or interference of politics into religion, all right, has diluted our religious beliefs. All right, I'm not going to talk much about it. I know you know more about it, or you know a lot about it. And moral and social values, the issues like the fear that there is some supernatural power that is watching over us. All right, and therefore I should not be doing anything wrong. I should not be stealing. I should not be cheating. I should not be telling lies. I should not be doing a lot of things, but I'm doing those things which are immoral. All right, and social meanings. So when we talk of social, we're talking of people. All right, we're talking of people. So we have lost respect for people as such. Otherwise, why would anybody just pick up a rifle or a gun and shoot another person for no reason? The basic reason for our living is lost. We have lost faith. So we are trying to bring back all these things, and bring back all these things by including new little bits of it into your syllabus and trying to tell you that come back to your roots. All right, get back into your faith. I mean, technology and science can advance, but don't lose your values. All right, they need to be there as they were always there. Okay, so when you have a lack of respect towards your culture, religion, your moral and social values also diminish, and this is happening mainly among the youngsters, which leads to um, what should I say, deteriorating relationship between parents and children, teachers and students. All right, there was a time when the guru or the teacher uh, would not hesitate to scold his shishya or student, or give him one or two with a cane, or even your parents did it at one time. But nowadays it's a rule that no teacher can lift his hand on a student. You cannot scold a student. So how would you uh, groom the student? How would you make that student a good human being? All right, and if any of the teachers scold the students, or beat them or use a cane on them, then there is a case against the teachers. The teachers are considered bad, complaints come in. So, what is happening is the teacher student relationship is affected. At home, between the parents and children, it is happening. There is a generation gap between your grandparents and your generation, also between your parents and your generation, and there are conflicts. And because there is no solution, nobody tries to bring about a solution to these problems. There is the relationship between the parents and children, teachers and students is um, deteriorating, meaning becoming bad. All right, so that is it. Rapid scientific and technological development are also reasons why we have lost a lot of values, because technology has taught us so many tricks, given us so many treats that, for example, I keep using this example very often. Technology has taught you how to hack, all right? But and if you indulge in hacking, all right, you are actually cheating somebody. If you are hacking without somebody, I mean, you don't actually take permission when you hack. So, which means there is an invasion of privacy. You're cheating somebody. And if you convince yourself that you're doing it for a good cause, the question is, to what limit will you hack to consider it good, and to what extent will you consider it bad when you've actually crossed limits? So who actually draws the line between till here hacking is okay, after this it is bad? So that is a big question mark. So science and technology have also contributed to the loss of values in our lives. All right, they have made us what should I say, lazy, indisciplined. Okay, they have taught us how to get things done in an easy method, which is not acceptable. All right, so there are so many other things. So as when we keep talking about other topics, we will find out, the use of computers. Later you will find out that so much research is being done, and small things like people stealing other people's research work and claiming it as their own. This is also uh, this is also cheating, isn't it? It's plagiarism. So which is also an output of scientific and technological development. We think it is easy to there was a time when people didn't have access to computers, so whatever research they did was through hard work, reading books, all right, reading a lot of opinions and research ideas put forward by other researchers and scientists, and then putting them all together and then trying to use that to verify your research work. So there was a lot. The concept of copying and plagiarism was less at that time. But today you have your computers, you have access to a whole lot of research material, and it makes it very easy for us to copy paste and pass off what we have copy pasted as our own what should I say, analysis or study, which is unfair. Okay. The next point is fast pace of industrial growth and economic development. As I said, it is linked with the sixth point. If you have money, that is, when you have a lot of money, economies, then a lot of money, you have power, and when you have power, you have the tendency to exploit people. You tend to dominate people. All right, and that is loss of values. Just because you have money, you cannot impose on other people. And the money comes because of industrial growth. Money, the economy increases, your bank balance increases because you have a good job, you have a good backing from which you are getting a whole lot of money, and the more richer you are getting, you are exploiting the poorer or the lesser people. All right, so that is what the sixth point is about: large disparity or difference in the per capita income. In our country, the rich are therefore getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. This is how things stand as of now. And the fifth point is about population explosion. since the population is exploding, people are not getting enough jobs, people are not getting enough food to eat, they struggle for survival, they are forced to take up unethical means or wrong methods of survival, such as stealing, cheating, and so many other things, being dishonest, all right, going in for adultery, all these things. So all these are some of the ways by which we have lost our values. And losing of values, there's one term for it, it's called value crisis, all right. So value crisis therefore is a reflection of deterioration of ethical and moral values, in simple terms. Okay, this is what I had to repeat these points because the BSc students came in. Now I'll quickly go on to two other points and then I will move on to a new topic. Now, what has happened because of a value crisis? The degradation has happened, and where has it affected? Who has been affected? What is one of the major outcomes of this degradation or value crisis? One word: corruption. There has been corruption in all walks of life. All right, starting from it's like a, what should I say, pyramid. It starts from individuals to the society to the nation in different spheres such as religion, sports, politics, and you can add some more if you want. As we start proceeding with the topics, you will have more points here to add. But there is one key word, and that is corruption. Because of value crisis, there is corruption in all spheres of our lives. All right, starting from the lower, if the individual or one person is corrupt, all right, he might induce other people around him to be corrupt, all right. And when there are other people, it means it's a society where there are a number of people who live together. And when there are many societies, it is a nation. And when it's the nations on a large scale, it's globally prevalent. All right. So corruption, starting from the individual, moves on to a very larger scale, involving the entire globe. All right. Value crisis is also leading to increasing respectability of selfish individualism. All right, the word selfish individualism. There was a time when joint families existed, and I don't know how many of you belong to joint families now, but life used to be different at that time. All right, there was a lot of sharing, give and take. Nobody thought about, this me, I. It wasn't like that. It was like the first preference was given to everybody in the family. Then whatever was left came to you, and you were happy with that because the others in the family also did it. Today, because of nuclear families, because joint families have all broken down and there are nuclear families, everybody has become a separate, cell by themselves, a separate unit by themselves, and each individual has become very selfish because they don't live in a joint family. They're not, there are not too many people whom they have to think about. Circumstances force them to think only about themselves, so they become selfish. All right, now this is where we have to think about how we can overcome these, and that is why again I'm trying to tell you why this kind of a topic has been included into your syllabus. When you are a professional working in a company, you are not alone. All right, it's a big joint family. So if you only keep thinking about yourself, your progress, and how you will survive, and all good things only for yourself, remember the other people who are working with you, if they're not on par with you, then the organization will suffer. And if the company or the organization suffers, there is no productivity because each one is thinking about himself. The company will crash one day and everything will close down and you will be just left sucking your thumb. You'll have nothing. So this is what selfish individualism is all about. You think only about yourself and you become selfish. The individual thinks only about his well-being, his goodness. All right. This has also happened because of value crisis, a loss of values, where People have stopped thinking about doing good for others. On the contrary, they only think about doing good for themselves. All right, so that is. So it takes a form of exclusive concern for personal gains. This is what I said. I only think about my gain. All right, without any consideration for the common good of all others with whom I survive, which it could be my family, it could be the society in which I live, it could be the society in which I work, which means my company or the organization where I work. All right, and people today are only concerned about their rights without fulfilling their obligations towards others. That is why they become selfish. They don't think about others. All right, when you have your interviews, very often they ask you a question in the HR round, like, do you like working in teams or do you prefer to work alone? Now, many of us like working alone. Your generation might also say that, all right? Some people really cannot mingle with others, they cannot interact with others, and therefore they like to keep to themselves, and therefore they would say that I prefer working individually. Now these people are looked at with a question mark, like, are they good enough candidates for the organization? Because an organization can profit, can move ahead, can be productive only if everybody puts in their brains and efforts and hard work, and not one person in different directions. So it will become very difficult for group work or teamwork, if everybody thinks that I can't work with a group, I can work only individually. Now where will you pull in your work? Who will every time keep track of you individually? It doesn't work. So you have to draw a balance, like how much of your work you will be individual and how much of it should be contributed to the group work for the benefit of the organization. Remember, it has to be a win-win situation. You put in your hard work as much as you can, and also let others put in their hard work, so that when everybody gets together and gets the organization moving ahead, it's a win-win situation. The organization will give you, what should I say, benefits for doing so much for them. All right, so that is how it should be done. So much clear? I'm not getting any answer. So much clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
again, I will quickly move on. These topics are very simple. I didn't. I was told to go a little slowly. That's why I was moving slowly. And now I think we need to move ahead, because very soon you might have a midterm. So these topics you can read on your own, but I just go through them very quickly. The next topic that we're talking about is values. Okay. I've talked so much to you about it. Okay. So one of the definitions that I picked up was about values was, it refers to the common beliefs of a section of people, such as an ethnic group. Ethnic group meaning belonging to a particular culture, or a business organization, as to what is good and right. What is good and right. That is what we mean by values. We generally don't talk about negative values. We talk about positive values, because that is what is useful or beneficial for us in the long run, and also encourages other people to follow. Is that clear? So that is what I said. This is I've already shared this slide with you. I'll very quickly go through them. I just picked up a few definitions on values just to give you some kind of variety, and from where the word came. The word values is derived from the French word valeur, which means the worth or merit or usefulness or importance of a thing. All right, how useful it is, how beneficial it is. That is what it means in French. The word has been borrowed from an original French word called valeur. Therefore, values talk of a principle, or are principles that promote well-being, and if something promotes well-being, it can cause very less harm to others. All right, it doesn't have the potential to cause harm, because it always has this element of goodness in it. Another definition is, values are our guidelines for our success. Why? Because if you have good values, uh, you are looked up, the kind of impression that people get from about you is very positive. The positive vibes that you create will take you places, all right, and that makes you successful. Values are a paradigm about what is acceptable, all right. So when we're talking about values, as I said, we're always talking about values that are acceptable, that are positive, that are good, and those can take you places. And therefore our values associate our emotions to our experiences and guide our choices, decisions, and actions. This is where it leads on to ethics. When I told you what ethics are, if your values are in place, they help you make good choices, they help you make proper decisions, and they lead you on to doing good actions. The deeds that you do are also good, the karma is also good, all right. And the, when your values are sound, they help you decide what is right and what is wrong, and what you should therefore do or not do, what is good, what is bad. That is where this right and wrong, when the right and wrong aspect come in, we are talking about ethics. You can be ethically right or wrong depending on the values that you possess, all right. Now values can differ from person to person, and they can change from time to time in a person, all right. So the last point here that we have, values are enduring beliefs, all right. These are, when you're asked to write about values, you can use all these points and give your own examples. Enduring meaning long lasting. They're beliefs that last long in you, that you have total faith in. Values are those beliefs that you nurture, all right, meaning you water them, you cherish them, and you preserve them or keep them in you till your last breath, all right. And you are known for those values that you cherish and nurture, all right. So these are some general points. I have put the topic characteristics here, but they are also the same thing that I talked before. Values are defined as a constellation of standards or qualities, characteristics, or ideas that determine a person's view of the world. Um, this point means, let me give you an example. Um, okay, let's say you grow up knowing that um, contributing, when we give, in the word that we use in Bengali or Hindi is when you give dan, all right, contributions for a good cause, all right. Now, um, the concept of whether giving a contribution like this is good or bad can be inculcated in you through your family. Maybe your family has this habit of donating, donating. When I talk about dan, I mean donating money for a good cause, maybe to a blind school, or on your birthdays, or if there's a birthday or a good occasion that you're celebrating in your house, your family has this tradition of feeding um, beggars, or you see, sometimes what happened was like, in front of our house we have a rickshaw stand, all right. And my father, every puja on the Dashami day, he had this belief that he would treat them, all the rickshawalas in the stand, he would treat them to sweets. See, donations can be of various kinds, can be in cash, can be in kind, all right. They can be small, they can be big, all right. And this gave him a lot of um, happiness to be sharing those sweets with them. Maybe he didn't give them much, but he got a box for ready for everybody. And you see, he was a cancer patient and couldn't go out much. I'm talking about my father. And every year during the pujas, the last day, he would share a box of sweet with all the rickshawalas in the stand opposite our house, all right. He knew each of them so well, and also the problems that they had in their families health wise, because he was a doctor and they would often come to him for medicines. So my father would receive medicines from the, this, what do you call those people, the those pharmacies, those people who come, the medical, um, medical, what is the word that uses people who come to doctors and give medicines? I'm not getting the word. Yeah, the medical representatives. So the medical representatives would come to my father with medicines, and they are not like gems or chocolates that everybody can eat. So when these rickshaw walas had any health issues, they would come to my father, and he would give them these medicines for their family without charging them, all right, for treatment or for medicines. Now this is a trend that I have been observing in my father for a long time. Today it's rickshaw walas, but in when he was we were staying in Pondicherry, and when he was practicing, there were a lot of nurses and attenders who were there in the nursing homes, with whom he would do the same thing, because he said the medicines would either get spoiled, and you cannot disposing them would be a problem. So whenever they needed them, he would give them these medicines. So I grew up seeing him do that, but I never got an opportunity to do it. All right. But after he passed away, I thought I will revive this thing. I told the rickshawala, I cannot give you medicines. I'm not a doctor. But if you have children who need any kind of help in with their education, I will be very happy to help you out, because I'm a teacher. I can help you out that way. And the sweets that go with the dashami are still there prevalent, because my mother is there. My mother told us that my father used to do it, and she does it now. So you see, these are certain standards that we have set for ourselves. All right, that I will do this for society. I will give service to society in this way. You're students, but you can still do it. All right. I know of so many students who have been offering their services free for school students who have not been able to attend school, and do not have access to computers and all these phones for doing online classes. So a lot of students like you are helping out these students who cannot have access to internet and all this. They are conducting tuition classes at home, or helping one or two students at home by sharing internet connection with them, and also teaching them. So you see, you are following certain qualities that have been inculcated in you. Maybe you have got it genetically, or you have seen other people do it. It is external, it has come to you, and you have set certain standards for yourself. These are your values. All right, these characteristics are noticed by people. All right, and maybe 10 other people who see you doing it will also be uh, oh, 1 second, just hold on 1 minute. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is what we mean by characteristics or ideas that determine a person's view of the world. Your view of the world is this, that you would like to share what you have with you. You would like to share your knowledge. If you have money, you can do it. If you have, you are sharing your internet connection with, you see, you might have maids at home whose children are not being able to go to school. They don't have good phones with which they can access their online classes. Maybe you can share some of your time with them. All right, if you don't have a class, or help them to do their online classes. So that is what we mean by setting your own standards and developing your own personal view of the world. Life is like this. If I could do something for them, it would be nice. That is what we feel, we think. So I hope that point is clear. Constellation meaning a collection. Constellations can be seen in the skies. Have you seen that your different constellations? I can't remember the names. Can anybody remember names? I mean, there are a few points in a constellation, all right, and those points are equivalent to values. All right, there are certain values each of you have as individuals, and that is a constellation that we're talking about. You have a collection of values in you, qualities in you. All right, so those qualities, another term for that is values. Now, when your values are in place, the judgment element is very strong in you. It helps you decide what is right or what is wrong, and what is desirable. Desirable meaning what you want. you might see certain values in other people which are very good, all right, and you desire to uh, have those values in you also, all right. Now when do you decide that yes, this is good or bad? Because you have seen something, you've seen a positive outcome uh, of someone using their values, and therefore you think that this is how I also want to use this quality. I want it in me. So I will develop it, I will nourish it and nurture it in me. All right. And that in the long run will help you decide whether something is right or wrong. Because it is already inbuilt in you and you know that what that other person was doing is good. This sense, no, that tells you that what the other person was doing was good. That itself means that your values are in place. All right. And the last point that I've been talking about is values shape personality and behavior of an individual. We have, for this, I can give you an example like, you have Yudhishthira, you have Harishchandra, you have Gandhiji, you have Mother Teresa. Each of these people had a particular trait with which they could be identified. And that was the what should I say? The quality that shaped their personality. All right. Harishchandra for what should I say? For right, Yudhishthira for righteousness, Harishchandra for truth. You have Mahatma Gandhi also for truth, where his autobiography also went like my experiments. Uh, what was the book? My experiments with truth, isn't it? Gandhiji's autobiography. Does anybody remember? No? Does
Yes,
anybody
ma'am. The
remember?
experiments with truth.
Yeah. So can those of you who are there, can you tell me of some more personalities with whom you can fix one personality trait? It can be positive, it can be negative, it can be anything. I am giving you positive all the time. Like I talked of Yudhishthira, I talked of Harishchandra. All right. I talked of Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa for love, uh, care. All right. Um, Anything else that you would like to associate with Mother Teresa? Those of you who are there, each of you think about one person with whom you can tag one personality trait. You can tell about a person with a negative trait also. Violence and all that. Can you think of somebody? Like we need to think about these things. Value shape personality. You can go back to our mythology, you can go back to our history. Think of personalities who had very strong characteristics in them, for which they are known even today.
Adolf Hitler with violence.
Absolutely right. Then others. The best thing is if you can get somebody from, if you can think of people from our mythologies. There are lots.
Shokuni.
Pardon me? Yes, Rup Kumar, I couldn't hear you.
वो maternal uncle था ना शकुनी मामा.
For what? For Shakuni, for what? Cunning. For Chalaki.
Negative mindset.
Absolutely correct. Okay, Shakuni. Shakuni was very cunning. All right. All right. Very good. Then for bravery, strength. Okay, very good. Then
Ma'am, Chanakya
for
his economics and mathematics and his explanations.
in one word, if we put for his intelligence, for his what should I say, smartness, for his intelligence. Okay, he had a very can we
So ma'am, sure, he was a very good manager. His management
yes.
skills was very good.
Okay, very good manager, very good. I mean, there are certain traits, and he was very, what should I say, very sharp, very clever. I don't know, clever is the right word, but very sharp and very knowledgeable, all right, and intelligent, all right. Any other persons with any negative traits or positive? None of you can remember? All right. Those who,
Ma'am,
yeah,
King Ashoka with leadership.
okay. All right. Okay. Leadership is also a positive value, and leadership is very important when you start working. When you're in your workplace, leadership is very important. Okay. Then anybody else? Any other? Anybody for generosity, for charity, kindness, honesty? Can you think of anybody else with these traits?
Mother Teresa,
Yeah, for
kindness, charity.
yes, for charity, kindness. Okay. She was very loving also and selfless. Right? She was never selfish. She was selfless. All right. Can't we? Is it very difficult for us to think of people with negative qualities? We had Adolf Hitler. Ornov had said. Anybody else? Anybody else with negative? Which trait? Tell me. Tell me. Okay, cheat. He's a cheat. Maybe we can use a fraudster. He's a cheat. All right. Okay. There are so many, like I don't know. At one time, when I was your age, there was this big, what should I, scam in the stock market, and Harshad Mehta was a big name then. He cheated so many people of their money. All right. That was one name that I still can't forget. Now maybe as we keep going through, maybe today suddenly I'm asking you so you don't remember, but if you think about it, you will come out with more examples. So you see, I asked you for this because you have very quickly associated one person with some kind of a trait, personality trait, some kind of a behavioral trait, and that is what their values are. That is why they are known. All right. This is called individual core value. Each of them are known for. You need not be a celebrity or a great person to have individual core values. Every individual has it in him. It only takes time or a situation or an experience for him to realize it. All right. But until then, he can keep practicing it, searching for it always. All right. The last point that I'm talking here about is values may change over time. This is a very relevant point. I gave you an example for this before also. Values change with time. As you keep growing, your values change. Sometimes they change for the better, sometimes they change for the worse. I will start with an example when your values change for the worse. I used this example before also in my previous class, where I said that when you were in school, you never thought of cheating in the school exams. You had the fear of authorities, of your teachers, of being punished, of being sent out, or not being allowed to do. If you were caught cheating in your board exams, you knew that there was something terribly wrong would happen. Your life would be finished. All right. First year in college, you still haven't joined college. That is a problem. First year in college, you'll be all good boys and good girls. Come third semester, there's a complete change. Your values change. All right. I'm not telling everybody does it. All right. The tendency to ask, not study and come, while away your time, not come for classes during the semester, and in the exam hall, the intense desire to cheat, to copy by asking friends for answers or jotting down, taking cheats, all right, writing in the answers, equations, and all those numericals, formulas, and all that wherever possible, so that the invigilator cannot see you. And you somehow keep fostering this thing till you come out. It gives you a cheap thrill, some kind of many of you have this feeling that I have to pass, so I have to pass anyhow, and it's okay to copy. But why is this happening now? When you were in school, you never did it. You passed, and you passed out well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be studying, to become engineers today. Then why today, as in when you want to become an engineer, you want to copy, you want to cheat? This is another reason why this subject is being taught now. You understand? All these things are now being given importance in your syllabus. This kind of cheating will slowly move on to bigger issues, okay, where it might end up with taking bribes and gifts. Gifts is also okay, but then when the gift becomes a bribe, then the value that you have adopted, it takes a different turn. It's a negative value. You will not work if somebody does not give you a bribe. Now, how irritating and annoying it is for us when we go to people and expect them to do some work that has to be done by them without taking any, they will not do the work without taking a bribe. How appreciable is that to you? How acceptable is it to you? If you don't like it, then you should also not be doing it. If it is your work and you're being paid to do it, then you have to do it. Why should the impression be that he's taking bribes, or he's doing this, he's not doing that and getting away with it, I will also do it? Why? You never know what consequences await that person. Would you want to face the same consequences? And that is up to you to think about. So you see, values change over time. Sometimes, you see, I'll give you another example. You have a whole lot of children, maybe they're orphaned or they're just vagabonds in the railway stations, and many of these drug addicts and all the drug peddlers, they target these young children, all right, and they use them to sell drugs and other things like that. And they exploit these children. They make them work hard, and when the children have done this, they send them to beg, and if they have earned 50 rupees, they'll give them 5 rupees and take the rest of the money. And these poor children have to survive with that 5 rupees. Now, sometimes some of these children, it could have been fate that has brought them to a station like that and left them there like that. But if there is even a little bit of their values left in them and it is very strong, then they will try to overcome these. There have been many people who have overcome these situations and have made a good life for themselves. So here also there is an example of how values change over time. You have shed off your negative values, fought them off with a lot of difficulty, and adopted good values to become good people, good individuals, and you look forward to a good life. All right. So how did you think about doing this? Because your values were in place. You could make good judgments. Is that clear? So values can change over time. Values can change for good or for bad. Okay. I will do 1 or 2 more slides and stop, because you have a class from 4:30 also, I think. So this slide, what are the values that are prevalent or existent in our present Indian society? Social values include, whenever we talk of social values, we're talking of society. The word social comes from society, and society is constructed out of people, human beings, individuals. All right. Social values include justice, freedom, respect, communal harmony, and responsibility. Now, many of these are given to us by our constitution itself. All right. So these are some of the values that our constitution has gifted us. Mutual respect, mutual meaning both sides. Mutual respect is needed for all of us. I need to respect somebody, then only then that person will be able to respect me. So that is what we mean by mutual respect. This is what makes us human. If you don't respect other people, they will not respect you. Why should they bother? That is the kind of feeling. So having respect for everyone, despite the differences between us, is vital in order for a society to function well. If I think that, that person does not have this kind of values, so that person is bad, I will not respect him, then that is your choice. But you will, if you can look at the positive qualities that that person has and try to respect those qualities, then maybe you will develop some respect for that person, and the person will also understand that he is being respected for the positive values that he has, not the negative ones. All right. So this is a very vital point. Now, when you live in society, you must learn to tolerate, adjust, all right, with others with whom you live, all right, and have mutual respect for each other. Otherwise, you cannot survive in society. So you have values, which are beliefs, and your beliefs are based on perceptions or understanding. Understanding of what? Of situations, of experiences in life, which help you develop your attitude towards a particular person, a particular situation, all right, and that results in your behavior, interest, and personality. That helps you develop your behavior and personality. All right. So these are just some keywords, one leading on to the other. Now, the word perception is very important here. All right. Perception means understanding. Your understanding of life, your understanding of situations in life, your understanding of experiences that you have had in life are very crucial in helping you uh, understand your values and develop attitude towards other people and situations. All right. uh, Perception is about how you look at things, and trying to understand how others look at the same thing. How do you understand a particular situation, and how do others understand the particular situation? All right. It is like stepping into another person's shoes and trying to empathize meaning putting yourself into another person's situation, trying to understand what they are facing, what they are experiencing, and accordingly try to understand whether uh, whatever they're doing is right or wrong, and what is actually inducing them to do something. Why is somebody doing something? Try to understand. Or if you are doing something, ask yourself and try to understand why you are doing this particular thing. Do you understand why you're doing it? What will happen if you do it? That is perception. And once your perceptions are clear, your understanding is clear, your attitude towards certain situations and experiences in life will also change. If you grow up seeing a friend of yours who is always stealing other people's stationery in school from their bags, or stealing books from a library, all right, you probably will grow up with the understanding that stealing is good. But one day when you get caught and you're punished, you will understand that what you were doing was wrong, and therefore what that other person was doing is also wrong. Today or tomorrow he will get caught and he will also be punished. Why was he doing it? What caused him to steal things like that? Was his reason for stealing the same as yours? Is it because that person did not have good things in life, and therefore that provoked him to steal things? And was the situation the same with you? Did you also have the same situation where you did not get these things in life, and therefore you thought it's better to steal and you will enjoy those things? Now your attitude will change. Your attitude says that it is better to get what I deserve the proper way. And the attitude is that I will enjoy using these things if I get it the right way without stealing. This is mine. This is legally mine, officially mine. Nobody can tell me I stole it. I worked for it. I bought it with my hard-earned money, and therefore nobody can tell me that I am a cheat. So your attitude changes, and it will also, when your attitude changes, you will also understand that when others steal, you will not like that attitude of theirs. Or if they tell you it's okay, what is there? You're not going to get caught. But your attitude says that no, I can get caught, and why should I be doing it? My understanding of life or experiences in life tell me that I shouldn't be doing it. It's not right. Nobody in my family did it. We have been taught not to do it. Then why should I do it? So your attitude is like, I will not do it and I will not encourage other people to do it. I don't like people who do it. All right. Here, I had, just give me 1 minute. I'll just check if I have something on perception that I wanted to show you. Let me see if I have it. Just give me 2 minutes and then I'll wind up. Okay. Just let me see if I have that document with me. I wanted to show you all something. It's not something very unusual, but just hang on. I don't know. Okay, I'll share a picture with you. I don't know how you'll be able to see it. 1 minute. Okay, I'll stop sharing my. Okay, let me see. I'll stop presenting. I'll show you I'll share something else with you. Just tell me if you can see it, okay? Can you see these pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they small? I'm trying to see if I can. Can you see this picture? Is it clear to all of you? Can you see it? Can you see this picture?
We can see all the pictures in folder file form.
Oh, you're not being able to see one single one?
No, ma'am.
1 minute. Why is that happening? No, 1 minute. I will try. Okay, if you can, I think it's small. If I can show you one picture, they're all coming. Okay, I'll show it to you in my next slide. Okay, next time when I start the class, I'll show it to you. I may put each one on a separate page and show it to you. For today, I think you have a class. Okay, here. I think you'll be able to see it here. Can you see it now in my slide?
No, ma'am.
Wait. Now, can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is just to share it with you. Can you see? My spelling is wrong there on perceptions. Just to tell you what perceptions are. In the picture on the left side, I'm sure you must have seen these pictures. Those of you who can see it, who are still with me in the class, what can you see in the picture on the left side? Can you tell me what you can see on the picture on the left side? Either you will be able to see the picture of an old woman or a young girl. Which one can you see?
Young girl.
You can see her hair and you can see that thing in front curved, and you can see her cheeks. So you can see the side view, right? And you can see her
Yes,
ear,
ma'am.
right? Everybody?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
about the
Yes,
other?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see only the young girl?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see the old lady? Can't you see the old lady? If you now I'll tell you. You look at the girl's chin. All right. Can you see that is that old lady's nose? And the young girl's ear is actually the old lady's eyes. One eye, left eye. Can you see it there now? And then under
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
there's
Yes,
a
ma'am.
straight line that is the old lady's mouth, and then there is her chin under just above her, that black portion, her dress. Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
And the white portion is that old lady's, she's covering her hair with a scarf or a veil or a cloth. All right. So there are two sides of the coin. Very often, many of us, because of our close view, we can only see one side of it, and therefore you will develop an attitude. Young girl, young. That is what you see, and everything associated with young, you will see that side. Now, when I show you the other side of it, that is what your elders generally do. You see one side of the coin, the elders expose the other side of the coin to you with various experiences of their own lives, okay? And that is how it helps you develop your attitude and understanding of life. If you see the picture on the right again, what can you see there? I will wind up with this because 4:30 you have a class. Next class I'll again start with another picture, if it's okay with you. The picture on the right, what can you see there?
A girl and a man with a big nose.
You can see a girl on the right hand side. The white part is a girl's face, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
The black patch is her eye. The black patch on the extreme right is her eye. And the man on the left has a big nose and he's playing a trumpet or a saxophone, something like that.
Yes,
There is
ma'am.
a big thing coming out of his mouth. All right. Now, these are just illusions. Okay. These are just pictures. These are just illusions. It's about how you see things. If you have been able to see both the pictures, you have a very open mind and you are very cautious and careful about seeing both sides of the coin. And if you see only one side and stick on to that, probably you will have problems in the long run because you are not open to views of other people. You're not open to the other side of life, the other side of the coin, all right, which can lead to problems. All right. So it is understanding both sides, the good and the bad, the nice and the one that is not nice, the young and the old, everything, seeing both sides and then coming to conclusions. All right. And this coming to conclusions are about framing your judgments about which is nice, which is not nice, which is right, which is not right, which is wrong, or which is good, which is bad. In this picture also, you can come to a conclusion like you like the picture of the young girl, you prefer that, and you don't like the next one because that's a little old and it's very negative and she's the picture of that young of the old woman is kind of depressing. You can come out, I'm just giving you vague examples, okay? uh, Views. So you can come out with your own views and your own judgments based on that. All right. Now your judgments will be strong, and your attitude based. They will be based on your attitudes, based, and they again go back to your values. What do your values tell you? Something is right, something is wrong, something is good, something is not good. So I'm trying to club these things together to show how life itself is an illusion and you need to see both sides of the coin to get your views correct on life and to move in that direction. So I'll stop with this for today because you have a class again. uh, Hopefully I will start my next class in the next week at 2:30 and we'll have more of the BSc students coming in. The BSc students, if you have a problem, please let me know in the next class. I will discuss, and the others who are there, we can discuss some more of these points. I'll show you one more picture in the next class, two more pictures in the next class, and then we'll revise and then move on to more topics. All right. So I'll stop here for today.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
If you have any questions, any doubts today, you can make a note of it, or you can ask me now, or you want to discuss, you can tell me. But I think running short of time. I wanted to give you a break today, but I couldn't give you the break. So have all of you put in your names and roll numbers? Okay. Then shall I leave the call now? I'll just you can leave the call. You can leave the meeting, I mean. And I will just make a note of those of you who came for the class, and your CR will also take a screenshot or will send me the Google Sheet with the attendance. So shall we wind up today? Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sorry
Okay.
for the inconvenience caused today. I hope we won't have the same problem next time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.